Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our conversation series, Our Social Dilemma. I'm Kate and this is my friend,
Jonathan. What's up?
Hey, everyone. We are back with another episode, and this episode is called The Family Experience. Now, we know that we started off very deep into the social media experience part of this. The first episode was about our addiction with social media. The next episode was about Snapchat dysmorphia. And now we're taking a different perspective, and this is definitely still related to our social media habits. And what we don't want to do is neglect the fact that our social media habits impact the life that we live at home with our families. And so that's why we're having this episode and this conversation right now. This conversation needs to be had because it's not just our relationship with social media is not just an individualistic thing. The fact that so many people around us have their own relationship with social media means that when we come together, there's some influence, and that's what we want to talk about right here. I have to admit that myself, in my own home, social media definitely has an impact on our family experience. Personally, there's times where like my dad or my mom will come into my room and I'm like on some device, and I feel like it's almost like a sacrifice to me to put down my phone and like acknowledge their presence. But then I put myself in the position when I try to approach them and I see them on their phone and I'm like, I feel neglected, parent. Like, why aren't you acknowledging me? And so it sometimes is hard for me when they come and approach me in my personal space. But I do put my phone down and I'm like, let's have this moment because sometimes they're rare. So Jonathan, share about your home experience with technology and social media. What is that like in your home? How does it impact your family experience?
My home, so my mom is older. My mom is 82 years old, and she doesn't have social media. But whenever I sit down to watch TV with her, talk with her, watch a novela with her, whatever it may be, I try to be, conscious and aware of my phone habits, right? So I'm trying to have my phone in my pocket. I'm trying to have it away from me, but then it'll ring, and I'm like, okay, let me just answer this real quick, and then wait a minute, they send me a video. Let me look at the video. Wait a minute, let me look at more videos.
Get carried away.
And then we get carried away. So I don't want that to be the case because I know that she don't say anything, but I know that she's noticing that I'm not giving her my full attention, and I'm not okay with that. I don't want her to feel like I'm not giving her my full attention. So I've made it a conscious rule to try my best to not be on my phone while with my mom, hanging out with my mom, talking with her or watching TV with her. I can't say it's easy, but definitely something that I'm working towards, and talking about the family dynamic, talking about parents and how they see us. What about how we see them, right? When they're using social media, that's not in my experience, but as you mentioned in your experience, you felt neglected, pushed away. So we decided to run a survey and ask parents how they felt about their own social media habits and how they felt about their children's social media habits. So I'm going to share those statistics with you now. So here we go. We asked parents on a scale of 1 to 5, how much of an issue would you say excessive use of technology is for your family? And more than 46% answered yes, this is an issue. Level 5, from 1 to 5, 5 being the most, this is an issue excessively. More than 46% answered yes, it's an issue. Okay. About 40% answered a 3, it's in the middle. About 16% answered a 4, but more than 46% answered it's a problem. Okay, so next question we asked, we kept it simple. On a scale of 1 to 5, how much do you regulate your children's use of technology? This one was interesting. From 1 to 5, we had about 40% that answered yes. I regulate my kids' social media. They only get 1 hour. Well, you know, they didn't say all that. They regulate their kids
in one way or another.
Right. And so we see a rise in regulating children. So parents are realizing, hey, I just can't let my kids be on social media all on their own. I have to regulate this. I have to know what they're doing. I have to give them a time limit. So that's great to see. Right.
And so, especially if these kids themselves are not self-regulating. So we'll get into that later, but it's key that it's important that we see parents stepping up in this way in their family relationships.
Definitely, for sure. You know, and the next question, do you believe technology use is impacting your children's grades? Is technology and social media impacting your children's grades negatively? Well, 50% said yes. Yes, my kids' grades are suffering because of their technology use and social media use. How many said no? About 15%. How many said maybe? 30%. 7% were unsure. Let's keep going. What examples can you provide of issues that technology and social media cause in your family? So this is a write-in question where we ask parents to write in some of their issues. 1/3, 33% of parents mention it takes away from family time. Parents are realizing they want family time, but their children are being distracted. Some of the other answers even included aggression. When the parents try to take away their social media, try to take away their devices, their tablets, they get aggressive, they get distracted, they don't do their chores, they can't sleep. These are some of the responses. And last but not least, how would you describe your social media habits? Now we're asking the parents themselves. They just went through a whole list talking about their kids. Now we ask them, can they describe their habits? I like this. 50% of parents said, I'm somewhat obsessed. Okay. These are the categories. Healthy, about 10% said they were healthy. Their social media technology habits are healthy. Okay, 10%, that's decent. Okay, I guess. Unsure, 25%. Somewhat obsessed, 50%. And then I might be addicted, around 20%.
And I think it's important that like maybe this is the first time some of these parents like they tend to like our survey itself, like externalize their perspective, like in terms of social media and technology habits. Like they're looking what the people around them in their home, like how are their kids using social media? Maybe this was the first time that they had to ask themselves, what is my social media habit like? So the fact that some of them said like unsure or something like, I wouldn't be surprised if this is the first time that they're like, wait, hold up. Let me look in the mirror. What are my own habits like? So we also surveyed youth because we also wanted to know their perspective, their experience. Like I shared, sometimes I felt like neglected or like I was lacking family time because people were on their devices. So we wanted to make sure that we also got some input from youth as well. And this is what we found out. So we started off by asking the youth if they have their parents on social media. And we have over 66%, more than half, that said that they do have their parents on social media. I personally have my parents on social media. We also asked if there's any youth that have Finstas or fake social media accounts. And I believe this is something that recently started rising. Like I didn't, this wasn't personally popular when I was growing up with social media, but some kids may choose to have fake social media accounts to like not be found by their parents. So we found out that over 50% said that they don't, but 46% said that they do have a fake social media account. So I'm assuming that if some of them do have 2 social media accounts and they do have their parents on that first account, maybe on the fake one, they're not, they're under the radar. But like it just shows the extent to which the youth is going to like have this relationship with social media that is like unknown about. And so it's just it's good that we're making ourselves aware of the relationship that our own youth that may be in our homes have with social media. The next thing that we ask them is, how much would you say on a scale of 1 to 5 your parents' use of social media influences your relationship with them? So like I shared, I definitely believe that my parents' use of social media influences our relationship. So we wanted to ask the youth as well. Most of them actually said it's on the lower end. They said like no impact or very little impact. We have 33% saying no, like no impact. And then another 33% saying very little impact. And honestly, I'm kind of like curious what this data really represents, because I wonder if some of this youth even desire a relationship much deeper with their parents than what they currently have, because sometimes they prioritize video games and social media so much that interacting with their parents isn't necessarily a priority for them. So I think it's representative of like kids' values these days. So I believe if we would have asked parents this, it would have, for them, it would have been like, this is absolutely influencing my relationship with my kid. But kids are like, man, not really that impacted by it. We also asked the youth, do they feel like their mood is influenced by their social media experience? And so we got responses a little bit all over the place here, but 40% said that their mood is occasionally influenced by social media. We have a small percentage that said their mood is always influenced by social media. And then we also have some that say that their mood is very little influenced by social media. So, I mean, if this is coming from youth that maybe they don't actually use social media too much or technology too much, then that would make me happy. I would hope that, it's my preference that youth has their mood very little influenced by social media. The next thing is we ask the youth to analyze their parents' relationship with social media. We asked them how healthy they think it is. And 37% of them said it's not very healthy. And we have 25% that said it's like in between. It's not necessarily unhealthy or healthy. And then a good 25% as well said that it's healthy. So, I mean, I like to hear that. I want our youth to feel like there's people around them that have healthy relationships with social media. At the end of the day, like the adults, they're the ones setting the example. So what you're demonstrating, you're leading by example. So even if you're not necessarily a parent, if you're an older sibling and you're watching this, be mindful of your own relationship with social media, because if your younger sibling is watching you spend 10 hours a day on your phone, they're not going to necessarily think it's unhealthy for them to do that themselves, because they see you doing that as well. The last thing we asked is we wanted them to, just like the parents did, just reflect on their own relationship with social media and technology. And some said 12.5 said that they might be addicted, but I wonder how accurate that is. 37%, more than 37% said they are somewhat obsessed, and 25% said they're unsure. 25% said it's healthy. I just think it's important, period, that we had this opportunity to like encourage reflection in youth. I think like they just get a device or they want a device and they never really think like, how is this impacting me? But we know that like excessive use of technology, of social media, will impact our children. So much so, Jonathan has like a crazy fact to share this fact that might just like be news to some of the people watching this conversation. And
it's really something when the big techs, the big tech giants themselves, the creators of Facebook, the co-creators, the CEOs and the COOs and the development designers and all these fancy names they got. It's something to note when they themselves say they don't allow their own children to have social media. It's something to think about. Do they know something that we don't? You know, and thinking about the whole family dynamic, we see, I wasn't born into technology. right? But and it's a great thing that, you know, this generation, they have technology available to them. It's wonderful. But we also see this term being made so real: digital pacifiers. And sure, we think automatically of children. Oh, the kid is crying, give them a tablet. But what about older adolescents, youth, young adults, or adults? It's the same thing: digital pacifiers. So think about that. Think about, is your technology use, your social media, a digital pacifier for you? And the last thing we want to leave you guys with: join the conversation. Let us know, how do you feel? How does it make you feel that the tech giants themselves, they don't let their own children use technology? You, or sometimes they don't.
To a certain age, yeah, they're very intentional. Like, they know how influencing it can be to their development, that they put a limit. They're like, until this age, you're not even going to have an account. So how does that, what do you guys think about that? Let us know, and please use the hashtag social convo. Join the conversation. Let us know what your personal family experience is like because of social media. If you weren't already thinking about it before and you tuned into this conversation, look around your day-to-day life in your home and just notice the differences because of social media and technology use.
All right. Peace.
Take care. We'll see y'all all in the next episode.